Welcome into Rover Sports, and I am very pleased to be joined by a guy that I've collaborated with on my channel a lot. He comments on so many vids. He's got a YouTube channel of his own. It's Jake Rannels joining us on Rover. And Jake, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good, man. And before we start this video, there's one of my subscribers who I really want to give a shout out to. His name is Pac-Man Jake. He's a Packers fan. He makes some really good vids. He's only has like 6 subscribers though, and I really want to get him more subscribers because he deserves some more. He's just trying to get himself out there.
Absolutely, and you notice too, it's hard starting out on YouTube, and it
hmm
takes some time. The key really is, if you just believe in an opinion, just get to that dang camera and get started.
Yeah, but you just say your opinion, and you really don't care what other people think, man. And that's I like
Me,
people like that.
me,
Yeah, you love to tell everyone your opinion. You don't really care what other people think. I
ruffle
like it.
feathers. I mean, lately, one of the opinions that I do want to talk about with you, and it's a current opinion, is Odell Beckham. And sometimes, as a
hmm
Giants fan, I think I've actually been too hard on the guy, Odell Beckham, because he has kind of changed his life around. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes you do come across and you're too aggressive. But in terms of for the Jets, with Todd Bowles, as long as it's just about football, I'm totally fine with people not liking your opinion. And the cool news
hmm
about YouTube, Jake, is the cool part about YouTube is that when people disagree with your opinions, it makes your channel popularity spike.
Yep.
Because if you're
hmm
wrong, it's even more fun, not for you, but for everybody.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
So, if the Eagles, this year or something, I bet you talking trash, isn't that, the best thing? I mean, where you're
Yeah,
from in Pennsylvania, they're Cowboys
yeah,
fans. They're probably Cowboys and Giants fans where you're at.
yeah. Um, I get along definitely more with the Giants fans. um,
Hmm.
I disagree with a lot of Cowboys fans, but yeah. I still talk with them, but I definitely get along better with Giants fans.
Sure.
Um,
I,
yeah.
I want to ask you, Jake. Last year, when Carson Wentz, went down against the LA Rams,
hmm
did you think that your Super Bowl season? Did you think that it was honestly almost over at that point when it was announced that he was out for the year?
I wasn't gonna say that it was over. I just think it took a huge hit. Our Super Bowl chances took a huge hit, but I still thought that there was a chance because I felt that if we got the number 1 seed, we were still going to be hard to beat at home with Nick Foles because that crowd is crazy. It was our first playoff game in 4 years at home. I knew the fans were going to be crazy, and Foles ended up getting his shit together, and he played decent in the Falcons game. But man, in the Minnesota game and in the Super Bowl, he was outstanding. He was terrific.
Yeah, I was so impressed by you guys against Minnesota, and
hmm
I knew that in my heart of hearts, and being a Giants fan, it's interesting. I knew in my heart of hearts when Case Keenum hit Stephon Diggs in the end zone, my heart sank as a Giants fan because I wanted the Saints so badly to play you guys like Drew.
Yeah, I did not want to play in New Orleans.
So
I
when
was
that play happened, it was almost you were almost more ecstatic than probably.
yeah, I was like, damn, we got to play New Orleans and Drew Brees, and then I literally, it, um, Adrian Fedke did the same thing from the Bitterbirds. He like jumped. I jumped in the air. I was like, hell yeah, we're going to the Super Bowl. My mom's like, calm down, calm down, calm down, and I was like, no, just wait. I think we match up really well with Minnesota, and I think we're gonna beat them. He's just like, well, they were a good team this year too, and I'm like, I still think we're gonna beat them. And we started off a little slow in that game, but once we got the pick six, it was over after that when we played Minnesota.
Yeah, like the Alshon Jeffrey touchdown and just the
Oh, that
crowd, and they couldn't weather the storm, and they didn't have a
yeah,
running game, and it was a disappointing effort for the Minnesota Vikings. But also, I thought the Vikings were kind of happy to just be there, to survive and to win a playoff game with Case Keenum and have that whole week going in. And so when you were watching that, I mean, that was a heck of an NFC Championship game. And then so suddenly you're in the Super Bowl. So Jake, like I look at the NFL, and usually the top two teams, I think that they can get knocked out of the playoffs.
Yep.
Dallas do that a lot. But do you think now, like that the importance of having a top two seed is just so important? It's just so, like you can get to the Super Bowl so easily.
Yeah, it's you get the lower seeds. I mean, New England, they got the number one seed, and they had to play Tennessee and Jacksonville. Like they were just like, they're not going to lose to a soft team like Tennessee led by Mike Mularkey, and they're not going to lose to a team like Blake Bortles, even though they almost did. But I mean, it's just. You get the lower seeds, and you get the entire playoffs has to go through your home field, and I think that is huge.
The toughest thing is an elite level quarterback like a Drew Brees. Like this year, I think even Jimmy G could be good. Aaron Rodgers can kill you.
Oh my God! Like he has one of the most garbage teams around him, and he still managed to get his team like to at least the divisional round when he gets in. Like, I think the last time he got knocked out of the first round or didn't win a playoff game was when they went 15-1, right?
Yeah, and they got an automatic bid to the second round.
Yeah, and the Giants, I hated watching that game.
Team Nick's touchdown, the 5 turnovers.
Oh, man, yeah.
You probably hated it because being an Eagles guy, you probably hated seeing Eli win those championships.
Yeah.
Because you're like, the Giants are freaking lucky. They sneak in, they get in at like 10-6 and win the dang, thing. And that's why as a Giants fan, I've never really truly been heartbroken because the team's never been that solid. Like maybe the most heartbroken I should have been when you guys back in 2008, remember with McNabb.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was
beat the Giants after they got the
that was like my second year watching football or watching the Eagles, and ever since then the Eagles have just slapped the Giants around. And back then you had Burris on the team, and I think he missed that game, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And he absolutely killed the Eagles up to that point, and you could tell he was greatly missed in that game.
Yeah, but the rivalry between our two teams, the Eagles, there's just a lot of heartbreaks. With Chip Kelly, he didn't lose at all. You remember the game with Shady when he like went off in the fourth quarter and then the Lawrence Tynes field goal like missed short or something? You know?
The blackout games that Chip Kelly had, I think that they beat you. It was 2 games, and it was a combined like 54-7 in the games. It was 27-0. It was 27-7. It was bad. Like I don't get what it was. Chip Kelly was an awful head coach, but like he, for whatever reason, found a way to beat the Giants.
To tell you the truth, man, like I honestly was afraid of Chip Kelly for a really long time. I mean, being a Giants fan. I mean, that first year when you guys had the Saints, he made Nick Foles into something really special. I thought he was a mad scientist. Some of the games you played in the NFL, the NFL wasn't ready for Chip yet. And then, of course, like he started to slide. But I still never thought that the Doug Peterson transition – I never thought that Doug would be elite. I thought he'd be a nice enough guy.
I didn't either. No one did. But I'll say this about Chip. I don't think he is dumb when it comes to football. I just think that he got really cocky and arrogant and thought that his system was just so great that he could plug anyone into it and then it would just be great. When he has to play to his players' strengths, like, say, the way Doug Peterson did with Foles.
And the thing about Chip is that he never had any failure. He doesn't know how to adapt from that style. And Doug Peterson's a hurry-up guy, kind of. And with Chip, you need time of possession, though. You need to be able to run it and relax and keep your defense, healthy.
Doug Peterson, he always loves to, like, pull stuff out of the hat and, like, just kind of surprise you. And, like in that NFC Championship game, he always stayed one step ahead of Mike Zimmer, and like the Eagles were just winning one-on-one matchups in that game. Like Alshon Jeffrey, he was beating Rhodes, and Aguilar was beating Newman, I think it was, and
Yeah.
Ertz, he beat up on Harrison Smith. So, and Big V, he didn't. Everson Griffin did not get a single sack on him.
Mm-hmm.
Vitae, yeah.
And also he takes chances with he loves
Mm-hmm.
throwing the ball deep, and it's
Mm-hmm.
not fun playing against him. And the way that he got Nelson Aguilar comfortable, the thing about Doug Peterson,
Yeah.
I think his best quality is he never has the expectation of being worried about any
Nope.
of being scared of any opponent or anything. He just thinks that the team should come right on in and win a championship. His expectation is just so high. It's like they've been there. And for the Eagles, you were waiting for that, for the immaturity to take over, for
Mm-hmm.
them to get popped a little bit. And maybe the Falcons game was it a little bit. But then in the Super Bowl against Belichick, he just doesn't care. He's just going to play his game no matter.
Yeah. And if the Eagles don't make that Philly special play, they probably don't win. They don't, and
yeah,
I mean, we would have had a chance at the end, but it's unclear whether we would have won.
It's a different game.
Yeah, and he always makes the like the smart decision. Like when they were down by 1 and they had a 4th and 1, you gotta go for that. Because at worst, the Patriots are going to get a touchdown, and you're only going to be down by 8, and you're still only down by 1 possession.
Exactly. Being down 8 is like death. I hate being down 8,
Yeah.
Then you have to score. Then the 2 is crazy. And that's why when you guys were up 8, I knew that the game was pretty much – I knew that it was looking
like
the strip.
Like, it was going to take a miracle for New England to beat us.
And they needed to be perfect, the Patriots, like in the football game, like Tom Brady really did play well. It was a complete and total track meet in that Super Bowl. And it just is amazing that you look back and the Eagles were able to do it because it truly came out of nowhere. And Andy Reid must feel just sorry. Because every year he would get close. He would really get close. And year after year getting back. And Doug Peterson in his second year goes from 8-8 to the World Championship. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and Andy Reid has a really good coaching tree of like Harbaugh and I think Ron Rivera. Yeah. Ron Rivera was with the Eagles when Reid was there, and
Nagy.
I mean a bunch of Nagy's. He's with the Bears now, so it's just it has to be frustrating being Andy Reid. Seeing other coaches going on and having as much, if not more, success than him. But
yeah, I wanted to ask you now for this upcoming year, do you think it's going to be hard now? Because one of the coolest things I think about really being an Eagles fan was that, every year you just like thought it would be your year and like never winning a championship.
Oh.
So that was like the apex of all of it. And now when you're going to play a regular season week 4 game, just naturally you probably are not going to be like as, on edge, if that kind of makes sense. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah. Like
be as devastated?
Yeah, because I mean now we kind of have that out of the way, and it feels so much better to not be like berated by everyone saying, "Oh, you don't have any rings." Now it's like, well, I mean, they may have more rings than us, but at least I got to enjoy seeing my team finally win.
You needed the ring because as a Giants fan, I would always have the 4-0 over you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And we would always be like the group to beat the Patriots, and I can always call you regular season people. Like you can make fun of the miracle of the Meadowlands all you want, but then I could talk about the playoffs.
Yeah,
we just victory, man.
Yeah,
and to tell you the truth, you've refocused me as a Giants fan by winning. Because say the Patriots beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, the Giants would still as a Giants fan that doesn't like the Eagles, I'd be like, okay, we're still okay. The Eagles at least don't have any.
Yeah,
last year so much about what you guys were doing.
Last year had to have been rough for you guys, man. seeing your ringless rival win one, and then having your team go 3-13, and as Cop Pizzle said, 3-14 because of the whole Super Bowl commercial.
Oh yeah. So
That
so
that was that
yes.
was a funny video he made. I love that video.
So like so you've grown up like watching YouTubers and guys like
Yeah.
that are, even
hmm
been doing it for longer, have tons of fans. So who are some of your guys, in the
Oh, I've really liked Philly 500 and the Sports Fury. I'm obviously on your channel a lot. I don't know. I watch a lot of other fans videos. Like I'll watch like the Bitterbirds and like maybe like Nitro Freak, but I'll watch Bad Dog 7676.
I do know him, yeah.
Yeah, he's got some real content and he knows football pretty well. So I like watching other fans' videos because I like to see their point of view.
It's
You know what I'm
deep
saying?
lit with Bad Dog.
Yeah. Like he'll support his team, but he'll also be real about it.
FedQ too. I really like the
hmm
film reviews he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Pigskin Pete, and it's just like a whole kind of community, and it's cool to like meet
Yeah.
some of these people, like yourself, Jet Central,
Yeah.
guy, and it is more entertaining, I think, than watching like like an ESPN or a Fox show sometimes.
Yeah, like because they're paid to say irrational stuff just because they're going to get a reaction out of it and they're going to get more ratings. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're actually getting an honest football opinion from somebody
Mm-hmm.
and like actual factual like stuff from that because even NFL Network is kind of not really that credible, I guess you could
Or
say.
they're just very boring. Like they can't
Yeah,
insult anybody.
like they pick everyone to go 10-6. Like what's the point?
Yeah, and well, I actually want them to have more hot takes. I don't mind the hot takes. I really don't.
Yeah, predict a team to go 0-16. Why not?
Yeah, man. But I was going to say, Jake, I want to talk a little bit about the NFC East, but also, man, I want you to come on the channel. I'm so excited for this
Yeah.
startup. What do you think about the Dallas Cowboys this year? Like they've been kind of quiet. What do you think about their outlook this season?
Well, a lot of people love to say that their defense sucks. It actually is not too bad. It actually is a very decent defense. And they did have some guys injured, like Lee. He was in and out of games, and he like missed significant time. And like
Van Der Esch is coming in.
yeah, Van Der Esch, he's a solid player. Their safeties are their secondary is a little suspect, but their front seven's actually pretty good. As for the offense, the O line's pretty good. Problem is your best O lineman can't stay healthy. We'll see how Williams is because I mean there have been plenty of tackles who have come out and beat busts,
Right.
a la Eric Flowers.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. Their receivers, I mean, they really don't have anyone to throw the ball to, really. And Dak is not a guy who's going to excel the play of his receivers. Like, all of his receivers' numbers have gone down. Dez, Williams, Witten. I mean, Beasley had that one good year in 2016, but went right back down to earth and was worse than he was with Romo.
Yeah.
And Witten, as much as people want to say, oh, he's old, he's washed up, he still caught everything, and he was a monster in the run blocking game, and hell, even in the pass blocking game.
And he adds experience.
Yeah,
Jason Witten adds that experience, and now they're putting Tavon Austin and Gallup. And I'm one of the guys though that I didn't love Dez Bryant. Like if I were a Cowboy fan, I would have loved Dez because he brings just like so much extra stuff to the sidelines and
like kind of like Odell. Just he's not producing like Odell.
Yeah, and now with Prescott, he did come out and he was fantastic. But I look at the guy's ceiling is not that high. Like he doesn't excite me with his arm strength. And Jason Garrett's still kind of there. They just have so much to
Mhm.
prove. They missed the playoffs. Garrett is finished, and it's going to be a tough division this year.
Yeah. And Dak is the type of guy where if he's not getting all the run support, he's not going to be that effective. Like you saw those 6 games without Zeke, you can make the excuse of how Tyron Smith missed some time, but he only missed 2 games. And he still had less pressure per drop pack than Wentz did. He got sacked less times per game than Wentz did, and he actually had more time on average to throw than Wentz did. And Wentz was still playing at a much higher level.
Right.
And yes, he did lose Tyron Smith for a couple games, and that Atlanta game was not his fault. When you're getting sacked 9 times, there's not really much you can do. But the other 5 games without Zeke, terrible game against the Eagles, terrible game against the Chargers, mediocre game versus the Redskins, a good game against the Giants, although it took him a lot of time into that. It was like halfway into the 4th for them to really get anything going, and then a terrible game against one of the worst secondaries in the league in Oakland. So a lot of teams are going to know how to scheme Dallas. It's stack the box and make Dak beat you. It's have 4 beat you, and if he does, tip your cap. Do not let 21 beat you. That is how teams are going to play the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, and they're going to need Cole Beasley to turn into Wes Welker now.
Yeah.
Going to need to have an incredible year. Michael Gallup is a guy that just needs to come into his own and take over. But it is kind of about the balance. It's about all these guys like Rico Gavers, all these tight ends. Who knows, who's going to emerge for Dallas.
Yeah, and
an interesting team for them.
Yeah, and he may be a really good receiving tight end, but his blocking is not very good.
Gathers?
Gathers. And that is something that Witten was. He was a 2-way tight end. He could block like hell, and he caught everything. Mm-hmm. That he's going to be a huge loss to that team.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious on them. Their defense, if Jalen Smith can stay healthy, I don't think they have the biggest upside in the NFL. They're not going to bomb, but it's really going to be, for Dak, this is a huge, huge year, I think, for him as well. This is where we will know if Dak is legit, or if they even have to look for another quarterback. And
I agree.
Because really, that's what I think is going to happen this year. So now I want to get your opinion on the New York Giants. I want to talk about Odell, the New York Giants. What do you think about their offseason?
I think they are the most improved team in the entire league, and I think they improved more than Cleveland did because they were I'm pretty sure they had the most injuries in the league. Correct me if I'm wrong. Barkley coming in, he's supposed to be a generational player. He may very well end up being a bust, but I don't think that way. The O-line, they picked up Solder. They they drafted Will Hernandez, who's a beast. They're going to be moving Eric Flowers to right tackle, which is his natural position, which I think he'll be a lot better than. As far as skill players go, minus maybe quarterback, I think you have the best skilled players in the division.
Yeah, like Beckham and Shepard and
he kills us. And Shepard kills us.
Yeah, in the slot. But looking at the offense, I think it's all just about running the football and also the defense, the defensive line getting to a passer. That's when the Giants have really been good is pass rush. So it's about Lorenzo Carter. It's about guys like Crora. I know Olivier Vernon. It's about guys like that. Will the Giants be able to generate that pressure? And then it's about, running the ball. At the interior of the line, it's still your right guard is still a question mark, the Giants. And but I'm excited for Shermer. He's going to bring back stability. He's going to have more offense, so.
And your defense is not going to play nearly as bad as they did last year because that defense they weren't trying. You could
It
just
was a
see
mental
they were
thing.
not trying.
They were totally just worn
Like
out.
those two games versus San Francisco and the Rams, I don't think I've seen a team show less effort ever, and that's even counting the 2012 Eagles, the Andy Reid's last year. Like that team quit, but the Giants, I think they topped that. Like that's how much they gave up.
How
And
is that?
I mean, why would you want to play hard for a guy like McAdoo who clearly didn't respect his players? If you're gonna just go around and push your players around, they're not gonna respect you.
You're absolutely right, and that's why this year could be so damn different because you saw Sean McVay, you see coaches do it. The Giants could be a wild card. If they don't make the playoffs, it'll be disappointing because Eli is getting old, so they're tired.
Yeah.
Time is of
And
the essence.
you saw a lot of teams that started running the ball a lot better. Like they were so much better. Like New Orleans, Minnesota, the Rams, the Eagles. Like as good as Wentz is, the running game definitely helped him out a lot. Not saying that he would be like ineffective without it, but the run game can help so much. It not only helps out the quarterback and the offense, it helps out the defense because you can wear out the other team's defense. You can eat up clock and keep your defense rested and healthy.
Yeah, the running game is just and even like when the Giants played the Eagles in Week 3 with the Jake Elliott walk-off, when the Giants were throwing from the 3-yard line and the 2-yard line, it's so embarrassing. It's like demasculating, like if you can't show any toughness to line up and run the ball from the 2-yard, that's football games. And what was maybe the most impressive drive of the season last year in the whole NFL was when you guys, the Eagles, you guys were playing the Chargers in Week 4. And you guys had like an 8-minute drive to win the game when you guys can run the football and win the game.
Hold up, my battery's getting a little low. It's at like 20%.
Yeah.
So.
Jake, it's all good, man. You know what? I think that we're almost out of time anyway, man. But thank you so much. I want to thank you for coming on this podcast tonight with me, man.
Yeah, no problem.
And I want to have you back on to do these 15, 20-minute segments with me, dude. And,
if you want to do like a preview for when the Giants and Eagles play, just hit me up.
Heck yeah, and I'm gonna put your channel in the description, man, and I'll come on anytime. So Jake Rannels, thank you so much, man.
Oh yeah, and guys, subscribe to Pac-Man Jake.
Absolutely. All right, take care.